It's interesting, ladies and gentlemen, as we've seen during these confirmations hearings of potential U.S. Supreme Court Justice Amy Coney Barrett, a working mom and a very distinguished law school professor at the University of Law at Notre Dame, and certainly a mother of seven. But you know what? You wouldn't know that in recent days because of many Democrats, specifically liberals, on the Judiciary Committee. So I try not to be disrespectful on this program, folks, but there's no better way to say it than just to sort of call out the clowns right now on the Judiciary Committee. It starts with Dianne Feinstein, who has been governed way too long out in California. Then we have, of course, Amy Klobuchar out of Minnesota. Folks, what's funny? When I look at Amy Klobuchar, doesn't she remind you of like every mother-in-law or every mom you've ever met? It reminds me of like, not every mom I've ever met with women I've dated, but, you look at Amy Klobuchar and she just has like that awful face where it's just like she's not happy to see you. She looks miserable all the time. And I look at her and I'm like, my God, whoever thought about voting for her for president is beyond me. But then, of course, we have her. We also have Dick Durbin out of Illinois. My God, I mean, is there a more appropriate name for Richard as the senior senator in Illinois? And even, folks, you know what? I mean, he's a nice guy to me when I've met him. But Cory Booker also came out of his shell yesterday with some ridiculous comments, sort of asking a working mother of seven and the mother of two black kids, do you denounce white supremacy? Well, what do you think, Senator Booker? I mean, she's a mother of two black kids. Like, do you think she's a white supremacist? I mean, folks, this is the asinine behavior that we're seeing coming out of the Democratic Party right now during these confirmation hearings. And I've talked to a lot of liberal friends of mine who say to me, well, it's a strategy. They're trying to get the public on their side. How in the world are you going to get the public on your side when you're acting like children, like you're not getting your way? All right. And I understand that many Democrats and many on cable news cycles and many activists, right? I mean, we're seeing people staying outside the Supreme Court building in costumes from The Handmaid's Tale. I mean, folks, listen, I don't want to be disrespectful here, but I mean, if there's anything that ever reeks, okay, of the look of cat urine and despair and frustration, I mean, it's seeing those ridiculous activists there on the court's, steps. And you know what? I'm sorry. It's just something I cannot take seriously. I think a lot of you out there today feel the same way I do when it comes to looking at these shenanigans and these antics by Democrats on the Judiciary Committee. Listen, I understand that they're not in power, but trust me, folks, that Chuck Schumer was the Senate Majority Leader, and God help us if he ever was. All right. And there was a Democratic president. They'd be moving forward with this nomination process. Don't let liberals fool you for a second, because they would do the exact same thing. Folks, it's the cycle. It's whoever's in power carries the sword. It's that simple. At some point in time, Democrats will have that cycle where they'll be in power. And guess what? Maybe they can push forward nominations and nominees respectively. But guess what? They don't have it now, and it kills them. And they're acting like children who, quite frankly, aren't getting that extra scoop of ice cream after dinner, right? For all of you that have kids out there, right? Have you ever dealt with those brats that are just having tantrums and meltdowns in front of you? No offense, but you know what? It's just something to keep an eye on. And you know what? I applaud Amy Coney Barrett for keeping her composure, for answering the question. Listen, for a working mom of seven, she's used to answering dumb questions. And trust me, the last 48 hours, she's had to deal with a plethora of stupidity from the aforementioned senators and their meltdowns and their antics. It's not going to work, folks. Come this Thursday or Friday, Amy Coney Barrett will be the 9th Supreme Court justice on the highest court in the land. So, it's something to keep an eye out for in the coming days, because you know what? Democrats will continue having a meltdown, as they always do. What else is new with liberals? They bitch and moan about everything all day, every day. That's just the life of a liberal, folks. You have to feel sorry for them. Folks, again, we'll continue with a great guest and coming up in just a few moments. And again, you're watching Women Wednesday here on A Liquid Lunch. I'm Fernando Uribe, filling in for the great John Tobacco right here on Biz TV and also on Facebook Live. We'll be right back right after this.